A key consideration in the design of class journals was making digital document management simpler and more efficient instead of more time-consuming for teachers. As you'll see in this video, it is easy for teachers to set up classes, add students, create handouts of many kinds, distribute them online without bothering with email, and then retrieve and critique them, all within a single integrated application. Getting started from the home screen with a new teacher's account is as simple as clicking on the Manage Your Classes button in the top right corner of the home page. If you don't see this button on your home page, you don't have a teacher's account. To get your account upgraded, contact info@notelabs.com. That's Notelabs with a Z. First, you'll want to add a new class by typing the class name in the text box provided. Let's say we're a social studies teacher creating an American government class. Then we'll click the Add Class button. Once the class has been created, it will be displayed under the Classes heading as a list bar. Should you ever need to edit a class or delete it altogether, simply click on the Edit Delete button and select the appropriate class. The next step is to add students to the newly created class. To get started, click on the class's name. In the Class Management area, you have several options available to you, including Add New Students. We'll click on the Add New Students button to add 3 students to our American Government class. If the student already exists in the class journal system as a member of another class, simply type their email address in the Email of Existing User text box and click the Make This User a Member button. In this example, our students do not already exist in the system, so we'll need to add them now. To add a new student to the class in the class journal system, simply add their first name, last name, password, and email address in the fields provided. When creating a new password for your students, it's important to ensure that you create a password that is unique, but that the student will remember. If you have already established passwords for your students for another electronic system at your school, it would be a good idea to remain consistent and use the same password in the class journal system. If you are creating passwords for students yourself, keep a separate record of the ones you select so that you can let each student know their password. When finished, click the Add Student to Class button. To add additional students, simply repeat this process. If you need any assistance setting up courses and adding students, you have the option of emailing your student information, such as first names, last names, and the name of your school, to info@notelabs.com, and we can set up a class for you. When finished adding new students, click the Back button to return to the previous screen. After you have created a class and added students to it, you may want to consider how to use the peer review settings of class journals. Typically in a class, documents that students work on are reviewed by teachers rather than students. But there are clearly occasions when student collaboration can be instructionally valuable. In a science lab, for example, where students work in pairs with one student, the note-taker, while the other executes the lab protocol and later reviews the lab notes. Or, an English teacher distributing a creative writing assignment might invite all students to review any documents by other students that they are interested in. In the lab example, a class would be divided into groups of 2 collaborating students, and access would be enabled between specific pairs of students. In the creative writing example, document access would be enabled among all students. By clicking on these radio buttons at the bottom of this page, the teacher can determine whether document access for this class is between student and teacher, open across all students, or open to selected students by invitation of each student individually. In this example, we'll distribute a document that will be a graded assignment, therefore we only want to allow access between student and teacher by clicking back on the default setting. When finished, we'll click on the Home button so that we can distribute a document to students in this class. The document we want to distribute is already visible on the home page. Note that the Distribute button that you see on the document list bar only exists if the user is a teacher. Students cannot distribute their documents. Let's click the Distribute button. Next, you'll want to check the box next to each student who should receive a copy of the document. If you'd like to distribute it to all students of a particular class, just click on the Select All button. When you're ready, click the Distribute Now button. You'll be able to monitor the duplication process by watching the blue status text at the bottom of the screen. Now that we've distributed the document from our teacher account, let's take a look at what this looks like from the student's perspective. The distributed document appears on the student's homepage just as it did on the teacher's homepage. But of course, every student now has their own copy. Students can access their copy and complete their work by simply clicking on the Documents bar in their document list. The list is ordered by date last modified, so distributed documents will always be at the top of the student's list. Each student can create their own subject folders and drag and drop any item on their list into their own folders if they wish to. Let's open this document the teacher distributed and, as a student would, complete a sketch that asks for the 3 branches of government. When finished, students return to their home page by clicking the Home button. You may have noticed that to the right of the document's name, there is a setting displaying whether or not the document is private or shared. When the setting is private, it means that even when a teacher has granted open access for documents, this particular document for this particular student can only be viewed by the student and the teacher. However, this setting is easily changed to enable collaboration among students. To change this setting, the student clicks on the Edit Properties button to the right of the assignment's name, and then checks the box to the left of Share this document during collaborative class exercises. When finished, the student clicks Save and Return. Note that the word private has now been changed to shared. Once a student has completed their work, a teacher can view the changes made to the document and add their own comments. From the teacher's homepage, click the Manage Your Classes button. Then, click the View Class Members and Their Notebooks button. A list of students will be displayed. To view their notebooks, simply click on the student's name and then select the appropriate assignment or document. When you access the student's document, you will be warned that only commenting and not authoring functions are available to you. You can click Don't Show this message again when you get tired of seeing it. So, let's say that we'd like to provide the student with a grade for this particular assignment. We can do so by selecting the Type Note button and typing the grade. When finished reviewing, simply click the Home button. Next, we'll navigate back to the classroom management screen for our American Government class. Although we previously searched for a particular document or notebook by using the View Class Members and Their Notebooks option, we can also search for notebooks by clicking the Search Notebooks button. In this area, we could search for a particular assignment by typing the assignment's name in the text box provided and clicking Search. This will display all the documents created by class members that contain the phrase branches of government or that are named branches of government. Also on the classroom management screen, you can choose to configure a comments report to make grade reporting a much more efficient process. A comments report searches only the comments teachers have attached to student documents. Since we used the word grade in a comment earlier, we can search for grade now. You can imagine other creative ways to use this search feature. For example, if we use the word strengths and weaknesses in our comments, we could create a report at end of semester grading time that would retrieve only comments that mention strengths or weaknesses sorted by student name. This is just one more way that class journals can save you time. Finally, the last feature we'll take a look at can be found on the classroom management screen. Here, click the View External Links button. Every document each class member creates is represented on this screen with a document link in this table. Only the teacher has access to these links, but they can be emailed, perhaps to a parent or another teacher or learning specialist who may want to review student work samples. By pasting one of these links into a browser, someone with no Class Journals account, that is, no username or password, can access the account in a read-only mode, which means all editing and commenting features would be disabled. That's it! If you found this video helpful, be sure to check out more videos and explore additional Class Journal features.